This story is called Whadayamean and it's written by John Birmingham. This is a story about saving the planet. It took millions of years to make planet Earth, and God was very pleased when finally there was a paradise where animals and people could live, with air to breathe and water to drink. The stars that you see in the sky at night don't have any people or animals or plants because God couldn't make them work. God was tired after making planet Earth and went to sleep for a very long time. Then one day God woke and decided to visit the planet that was still paradise, but not wanting to be seen, God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the people. And while everybody slept, God started to look around the world. There were two children who were playing under a very large and old cedar tree who had not gone to sleep. And God came to them and said, "Why are you not asleep like everybody else?" "We are not asleep," said the children, "because we are playing a game under the cedar tree." And God said, "Since you are not asleep, you must come with me and look at my world." And so the children set off with God to look at the world. And God said, "I do not like the things I see." "The waters of the sea which I made for the fishes and the birds are filthy and dirty." "The air which I made clean and fresh for you to breathe has been filled with fumes, which are foul and nasty." "The forests which are home to the plants, birds and animals are being chopped down and burned. Many living things have gone forever, and I cannot make them again. There seem to be an awful lot of you people. I made you the most clever of all creatures so that you would look after the world. And look at the ice which I made for the penguins and the polar bears. It is melting now and getting very thin, and parts of the world will soon be flooded. There are many of you who do not have enough to eat, and there are many who seem to have too much. You have spoiled my lovely world." "We're only little children. We're not old enough to spoil your world. What do you want us to do?" They had stopped in a place which God liked, and they had a picnic. And the animals and birds came too, for they had no fear because God was there. And God said, "You must go and tell the grown-ups to change the way they are living." "Grown-ups won't listen to us," said the little children. "They will listen to you if you tell them that I told you to," God said. "I will come back again when the world is a better place." And so the little children set out to find the men with the money who cut down the trees, dirtied the waters and fouled the air. "We must save the world," the children told them. "Stop cutting the trees, dirtying the waters and fouling the air." "What do you mean? Don't waste our time, you snotty little kids. You can't tell us what not to do. Run away, we're busy." "But God said to tell you not to cut the trees, dirty the waters and foul the air." "Oh, if it was God who said we must not do this, then we must stop," said the men with the money. The children went to see the people who said they spoke for God and who were always quarrelling amongst themselves. "We must save the world. You must stop quarrelling amongst yourselves." "What do you mean, you foolish little children that have lost your way? You cannot tell us not to quarrel amongst ourselves." "But God said to tell you," answered the children. "Oh, if God said to tell us, then we must all stop quarrelling," said the people who did speak for God. Then the children went forth to see the men who had the guns and the bombs that hurt and that killed. And the children said, "We must save the world. You must throw away those horrid things that hurt and kill." "What do you mean, you twitty children? You can't tell us what to do with our guns and bombs." "We can tell you," said the children, "because God said to tell you." "Oh, if God said, then we must throw away the guns and bombs," said the men in the uniforms. Finally, the children gathered together all the people who stood by and took no notice of what was happening to the world. "We must save the world. Look at what is happening. You must change your ways." "What do you mean, you horrid little whining brats?" shouted the people. "Who do you think you are, telling us what to do?" "But it is God who said to tell you to change your ways to save the world." "Oh, if it is God who said we must change our ways, then we must change at once," said the people, who took no notice of what was happening around them. And so it came to pass that the men with the money stopped cutting the trees, dirtying the waters, and fouling the air. And those who said they spoke for God stopped quarrelling amongst themselves. And the men in the uniforms who had the guns and the bombs that hurt and killed people threw them away. And the people who stood by and took no notice of what was happening to the world changed their ways. And those who did not have enough to eat had enough to eat, and the world became a better world. And time did pass, and God decided to visit the world and return to the cedar tree where the children had been playing. And God called to them and said, "Show me my world." The children went to their mother and said, "Can we show God the world?" And their mother said, "Go and show God the world, for it is a lovely world. But don't be late for bed. Remember it's school tomorrow."